Good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining me here tonight. Good to have you. Now, do me a big favor. As you join in, go ahead and share the link with somebody. I'm going to wait for just about 1 minute to have others join us. All right. Dr. Abino, I see you. Good evening, good evening. Thank you for being here tonight. Once you join in, why don't you say something to me in the comments? Let me know you are here. Once you join, say something in the comments. Let me know that you are here with me now. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Oluwatoyin Salami, good evening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Say something in the comments and then please share this link with a friend or two. Go ahead, share the link with a friend or two. Invite somebody to join us here tonight. All right, you can quickly go to WhatsApp, drop the link there. In any group you belong to, let people know that you are here with me and it will be a good thing for them to join us. Kendi Adeyemi, I see you. You're welcome. Josephine Alabi, good evening. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. Have you invited somebody? Share the link with somebody right now. And if you are yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please do so right away. If you are yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please do so right away. All right. Kate Connect, good evening. Thank you for being here. Okay. So if you have shared the link with somebody, you have said a word in the comments, then it means we are good to go. You know, I like to get straight down to business once we are live. So welcome everybody to tonight's session. Our topic for today is you need a dream team. You need a dream team. Of course, we're continuing our conversation from the book Moving Forward. Okay, Mayo Babatunde, good evening. Damilare Kodri, I see you. Good evening. Thank you for being here and welcome to tonight's broadcast. So, like I said, we're continuing our conversation from the book Moving Forward. And our topic for tonight is you need a dream team. Okay, this is from chapter 3 of the book Moving Forward. And if you are yet to get a copy of this book, I don't know, I like to call it a booklet so that people will know that it's a very small book. It's something you can read, at a sitting. So if you are yet to get your copy of this book, I'm going to encourage you to please go ahead, get this book. It will change your life. It will change your life. All right, please get a copy of this book. For those in Lagos, just find your way to Hill City Church either on Sunday or on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The office is open on Tuesdays and Thursdays and even on Saturday, and you can get yourself a copy of the book. By latest next week, I'm going to announce how you can get the book if you can't come physically to Hill City in Lagos. And for those in diaspora, it will be available on Amazon very, very soon. I think by latest next week, we should give you specific, information about when it will be available or if it's available already on Amazon by next week. But if you are in Lagos, Nigeria, nothing is stopping you from coming over to Ikeja or perhaps to our Lekki church to get a copy of the book Moving Forward. And while we're talking about church, Hill City Church is the reason why you are able to enjoy this broadcast. They are the reason we are able to enjoy this broadcast. And they have asked me to invite you to Easter Sunday at Hill City. The theme is Love Wins. It's actually a mini concert this Sunday at Hill City. So wherever you are in the city of Lagos, whether Ikeja or Lekki, you can join us at 10 a.m. and celebrate Easter with us at Hill City. In Ikeja, we are at 18/20 Kudirat Abiola Way, Oregun, Ikeja, Lagos. And in Lekki, we are at, it skips my mind now. I've forgotten the number, interestingly. So that's why we have the flyer. Let me quickly go to the flyer. It is Oak Place, number 14. Yeah. Oak Place, number 14, Nike Arts Gallery Road. Lekki folks, forgive me. There's a lot on my mind. All right. Number 14, Nike Arts Gallery Road. All right. Ikate, Lekki. That's where the Lekki Church is. All right. So please join us this Sunday. And if you're outside Lagos, you are outside Nigeria, then you can join us on YouTube. Okay, Hill City NG on YouTube or Hill City NG _ Lekki. All right, the two churches have their own YouTube channels, so you can join us on Sunday for a special Easter celebration. All right, let's get down to work. Last week we talked about you have to be clear. We talked about clarity. Essentially, last week, we said you have to be clear. And I'm just going to recap a little bit of what we said last week, and then we're going to the material for today. So we said self-awareness and vision is what makes up clarity. Self-awareness and vision is what makes up clarity. And I said self-awareness is knowing who you are, understanding your uniqueness. And let me say it again. Knowing who you are, knowing why you are, understanding your uniqueness, that is your strengths and weaknesses, and also understanding your purpose, that is the unique role you were designed to play in life. When you are aware of all of those things, that's what we mean by self-awareness. And vision, on the other hand, is the ability to see with your mind. In simple terms, vision is seeing beyond your current reality. Seeing beyond your current reality and knowing precisely what to do next. That is vision. When you combine these two together, you have awareness. We went ahead. Okay, sorry, you have clarity. I'm sorry for that. You have clarity. Okay, then we went ahead to talk about 5 benefits of clarity. They are confidence, focus, speed, resilience, and influence. I'm going to encourage you, if you missed the session from last Wednesday, it's available on my YouTube channel. Just go back to that and watch that session. It will do you a lot of good. Okay, confidence, focus, speed, resilience, and influence. Those are benefits of clarity. And as we were rounding up last Wednesday, I shared with you what I call my clarity check. 5 questions I ask myself to make sure that I am clear at every point in time. And these are the 5 questions. What am I doing? Why am I doing what I am doing? Who am I working with? Are we moving forward? And finally, what happens after what happens next? Okay, that's what we covered last week, Wednesday. And like I said before, if you missed this session, please go to my YouTube channel. As a matter of fact, I've created a playlist. Just look for the playlist Moving Forward. Okay, and you can start right from the beginning. And the way we do it, every session is always less than 50 minutes. Okay, I think the first session was just about 20-something minutes. Okay, so you can cover it maybe during commute. You can cover it while you do your exercise. You can cover it while you're cooking in the kitchen. Okay, just cover these materials, inspire yourself, equip yourself with knowledge so that you can continue to grow to become a better version of yourself. And like I said before, everything we're talking about in this series is from the book Moving Forward. This is my latest book. It was released November 2024. All right, the paperback is out now. If you don't have a copy, if you have not read it, then please do so. Tonight, we're talking about chapter 3, or we're sharing from chapter 3 of the book. You need a dream team. You need a dream team. I know so many of the guys who are tuned in right now. You are in for a showdown tonight. The Arsenal fans are ready. The Real Madrid fans are ready. And it is because it's a battle tonight. Why? It's similar to what we're talking about, okay? Today, this is the big idea, okay, behind chapter 3 of the book. In life, you don't go as far as your dream. You go as far as your team. Okay? If I'm going to pull some people's legs tonight, I will say, Arsenal, you don't go as far as your dream. You are going to go as far as your team. Okay? And one thing about the Real Madrid team is that resilience, is that winning mentality. As a matter of fact, the moment this broadcast is over, I'm also going to be switching over to the match to see what happens tonight. But this is what we're saying. Winning is not determined by desire. Winning is not determined even by God's design. This is important. That it is the will of God does not mean it will come to pass. The will of God means this is God's intention. This is what God wants for you. But the team that you operate with, the people that you do life with will determine, okay, how far you go in life. This principle is applicable to you as an individual. It's applicable to you even as an organization. And I've been following the Premiership especially for a couple of years now. And one major quality or one major lesson that I've learned from following the Premiership is it does not matter how much the team wants to win. As a matter of fact, I wrote something about it in the book. So let's just lift from the book and read together tonight. No matter how passionate the fans are or how desperate the club is, the quality of a team will determine the quality of her results. It does not matter how much they want to win. They won't win until they assemble a winning team. You know, John Maxwell said it in a different way. He said, you can lose with a good team, but you cannot win without one. Let me say that again. You can lose with a good team, but you cannot win without one. And that's why in football, they have what they call the transfer window. Okay, in the EPL, it's twice every season, in January and in August. And during that month, clubs will do what? Spend so much money bringing in stronger players, better players, quality players, while they let go, okay, of weak players, they let go of non-performing players. And this is what I want to say to us. Life is business. Life is business. What do I mean? Be gracious, but don't run your life with sentiments. And one thing I notice about the clubs, okay, football clubs, but you know, I'm not yet as vast as some people. My focus for now is the EPL. And one thing I notice about the EPL is how much that there are people you call club legends, okay? They've been with the club for a long time. For example, at Man City, we have Kevin De Bruyne, been with the club 10 years. And in 10 years, he has won everything, okay? This guy is a playmaker. This guy is a goal scorer. This guy is a team player, is a leader. But the truth is, he is running out of steam, running out of energy, is getting injured more frequently, is no longer as sharp as he used to be. It is business. So the club has decided, no, we are not renewing the contract. We love you. We care about you. We want the best for you, but we have to tell ourselves the truth. We are not getting as much value as we used to get. And now this guy currently is the highest paid member of the team. So this is what it means. If the club runs by sentiments, they will continue to pay the highest amount to the person who is no longer bringing the most value to the table. And for so many people, that is the way we live our lives. And this is what I'm saying to you. Life is business. Don't run your life by sentiments. Run your life by principles. By all means, be gracious, but tell yourself the truth. Guess what? Even Jesus, God in the flesh, did not run his ministry by sentiment. Now let's share this. Let's look at what the Bible says. Okay, and I want you to read this portion of scripture with me logically. Don't be sentimental. Okay, take off your spiritual cap and let's just read words and understand the meaning of the words that we are reading tonight. Mark chapter 3, verse 13 to verse 15 from the Message Bible. It says, he climbed a mountain and invited those he wanted with him. They climbed together, or rather, they climbed together. He settled on 12 and designated them apostles. The plan was that they would be with him and he would send them out to proclaim the word and give them authority to banish demons. I mean, this is interesting. Jesus climbed a mountain, but he did not invite everybody. He invited only those he wanted with him. In other words, some people will have gotten offended because they later found out there was a meeting they were not invited to. And then out of the people that were invited, he did not choose everybody. He selected 12. In other words, there were people who climbed the mountain but went back home without an appointment. And I'm saying to you that you can't afford to run your life by sentiment. What's the message? Okay, what's the big idea that I see from this portion of scripture? Okay, I believe this is the message Jesus is passing across to all of us. You don't need everybody to reach everybody. Okay, you don't need everybody to reach everybody. Okay, and after I'd released the book, and this happens to me all the time. I give my best and I publish the book, but beyond publishing the book, ideas continue to flow. So after I published the book, I was meditating one day and it occurred to me, it's not just that you don't need everybody to reach everybody, but that you won't reach everybody with just anybody. So let me say that again. You won't reach everybody with just anybody. So you have to be selective. I like to tell people this way. You didn't get to choose your family of birth, but you can choose your friends. You can choose your future. You can choose your team. So the message tonight is define your relationships. Choose your team. Make sure that the people that you are doing life with are the people that are supposed to be doing life with you. Andy Stanley said it in another way. Andy Stanley said, it's not enough for you to have the right people in the bus. Make sure that the right person is sitting on the right seat in your bus. Like I said, life is business. Be gracious, but don't run your life with sentiments. In other words, choose your team. Make sure that everybody you are doing life with is the right person for you. That is when you can be effective. That is when you can be productive. That's when you can experience fulfillment. So the question is, how do you choose your team? Because the Bible said Jesus climbed to a mountain, he invited the people he wanted, and he chose 12. The Bible did not tell us what parameters he used to choose, because he chose 12 and one of them was Peter. We all know Peter. One of them was Thomas. One of them was Matthew. One of them was Judas. At the beginning, these guys were weak. At the beginning, they made a lot of mistakes. But as the story unfolded, you see the genius of Jesus in choosing his disciples. My question is, how do you choose your team? When I ask you who is on your team, do you know who is on your team? Have you defined your relationships? Have you chosen the people that you want in your life? So many years ago, I learned about the 3 C's. The 3 C's. Okay, and I use the 3 C's when I am choosing people, especially when I'm making an organizational decision or a decision that I have to explain to other people. Okay, there are 2 models I use anyway when I'm choosing people to do life with. I use the 3 C's. I use the inward witness. And like I said, I use the 3 C's for organizational decisions or where I need to explain my decisions to other people. We Christians at times, if care is not taken, and some of us are familiar with the inward witness. I'll talk about it in a moment. Okay, you make a decision because you are led of the Spirit, and when it's time to interact with people, especially people who don't share your spiritual heritage, we come across as weird. When you tell them, I know that's the right guy for the job, they say, how do you know? So I just know. No. See, I use the 3 C's because anybody who does not share my heritage understands when I explain the 3 C's to them. Okay, and I'm going to explain that to you, and then I'm going to talk about the inward witness. So, this is what makes up the 3 C's: character, competence, and chemistry. Character, competence, and chemistry. Now, don't forget, this broadcast is not a replacement for the book, so I'm not going to say everything in the book. I want to say enough to inspire you to pick up the book. I want to say enough to help you understand what's waiting for you in the book. So I'm just going to say a few things about character, maybe a little bit more about competence, and then just a little bit about chemistry as we proceed tonight. So what is character? Character speaks to the quality of a person, or in the words of Bill Hybels, who you are when no one is looking. That is character. And this is the message. Without good character, people will burden you instead of bless you. If you choose people into your life that don't have good character, they will stress you instead of bless you. Now, this is the challenge. It takes a long time to ascertain people's true character. So, how do you know that this person is a person of good character? It takes time. So, maybe the first thing I would tell you to do is give it time. Don't make a permanent decision too soon. Don't judge people too soon. Don't conclude about people too soon. Give it time. But in the immediate, there are 2 other things that I consider. The first one is punctuality, and the other one is courtesy. Okay? Punctuality and courtesy. This is what I have found out. Great people value time, their own time and other people's time. So anybody who does not value time, I don't need to wait. I don't need to give it time. If at the point of meeting you, if in the beginning of our relationship, in the first few weeks, first few months of our relationships, I notice that your relationship with time is not excellent, we can't go far together. That's the first one. The second one is courtesy. Great people value people and they treat them with respect. So anybody who does not treat other people with respect, no, you cannot work with me. You cannot be on my team. And by that I mean we cannot do life together. We may be acquaintances, and that is where it ends. You are not going to come into my inner circle. We will not work together. We will not do life together. This is important. We're talking about character. Is the first quality I consider when I'm picking people to work with me or to do life with me. If you don't have good character, I know you will stress me instead of bless me. And how I know you have good character first is punctuality and then courtesy. And of course, the third one, like I said, is time. Nobody can fake it forever. So you don't make a permanent decision immediately. All right? Give it time. People will show their true color if you give them enough time. That's the truth. And you see, the beauty of time is when we relate over time, people get comfortable. And as they relax, their true personality will find expression. Now, this is what I say to people. Judge people by their patterns, not by their potential. Okay? Judge people by their patterns, not by their potential. So over a given period of time, when I observe a person's patterns, regardless of what is possible, regardless of how equipped, regardless of how gifted and talented the person is, I will go by your pattern, not by your potential. All right? That is for character. From there, we move to competence. Competence. You see, to continually achieve your goals, you need different people to play various roles in your life. And when we talk about defining your relationship, this is the work. You've got to be able to sit down, evaluate the relationships you have, and you are supposed to classify them. Look, this is Mr. A and this is who he is to me. This is Mrs. B and this is who she is to me. Okay, so this is what I've done. And by the way, what I'm about to share right now is not in the book. These are ideas that came after the book was published. Everything is in the book, okay, but this table is not in the book, but let me share it with you. Okay, so this is what I have done. I have classified the people into my life into 3 different classes. Okay, and for each class, I have an idea of what the person is supposed to contribute, and then what skill or what competence the person is supposed to possess. So let me share my grid with you. Okay, I call this I actually discern your network. Okay, discern your network. So the first category there is a mentor. A mentor. And the contribution of a mentor into my life is exposure, challenge, and growth. For a person to be my mentor, the person must have experience. Okay, this is important. And what we are saying is, it does not matter what the person's age is. Your mentor does not have to be older than you, but your mentor must be experienced in your area of endeavor. Okay, that's the first category, mentor. From there, I move to the second category. These people, I call them collaborators, my collaborators, and their role or their contribution is execution. These are people who help me to get the job done. And the competence required there is relevant skills. Relevant skills. In other words, if let me give you a few examples. I have a guy, for example, who does graphic designs for me. So I come up with ideas of I want to do a program or I want to produce a book. I mean, for example, okay, one of my collaborators designed this cover. Okay, now another collaborator evaluated the design for this cover, and the major thing she contributed was the shade of green that we used on this cover. The first guy was a graphic artist, the other person, okay, is a branding expert. So I have collaborators. They help me to execute ideas, and their competence is relevant skills. If you don't have the skill, you are not an executor. You can't help me to execute, so we can't collaborate. And then the third category, okay, is family and friends. And what they bring to the table is emotional support. The competence required is empathy. Now, this list or this table is interesting. And this is what I want you to do. I'm going to show you the table again, okay, once more. But this time around, this is what I want you to do. Apart from using this table to classify and to evaluate the people in your life, why don't you use the table, okay, to evaluate yourself as you engage with other people? So let's look at the table again together. Are you a mentor? Then you need to know that your contribution is exposure, challenge, and growth. Don't assume the role of a mentor in somebody's life if you are not offering them exposure, if you are not challenging them, if you are not facilitating growth. And for you to be a mentor, your competence is experience. You cannot take somebody where you have never been. Number two is collaborator. If you are going to be an effective collaborator, then you've got to help people execute, okay? And you must possess relevant skills. Of course, the easiest one is the third one, family and friends. We offer emotional support, and the key competence there is empathy. All right? I lifted a portion of the book to share with you tonight, okay, at this point. Let's read together. Every dreamer needs a passionate group of biased supporters to push through quitting moments. Still, we must embrace support. We must not embrace support where skill is required, or focus on want where experience is necessary. You cannot take business ideas or business advice from your mother just because she cares. Neither should you employ your cousin just because he needs a job. This is the mistake a lot of people have made in the past, okay? And they did not choose people to play specific roles in their lives based on competence, okay? But looking at the 3 C's, okay? These are 3 qualities that I consider as I choose the people that work with me and that do life with me. So for family and friends, what I expect is emotional support, okay, empathy. So I don't ask business questions from family and friends. The fact that somebody is close to me by blood does not mean the person has the relevant skills. So you don't employ family just because we are family. The person must have relevant skills. Now, I'm not saying family cannot collaborate, But if a family member is going to collaborate with you, it must be because the person has relevant skills. The fact that your brother loves you does not mean he's a competent producer for your music album. No, you need a producer, okay, who is worth his onions, so that you can produce excellent results. And of course, the third C is chemistry. The third C is chemistry. Chemistry is a deep sense of connection between people. And this is what I found out, that when people of similar values, ideologies, and aspirations are brought together to pursue a goal, they bond like siblings over time. They just don't work together, they do life together. I mean, I remember I had a leadership team I was working with, so many years ago. If we do a 2-hour meeting, then you can be sure that we were gisting and playing for 1 hour 20 minutes. We were not just working together, we were doing life together. And that's what happens when you have chemistry. Okay? It's been discovered that people are more fulfilled and productive when they work with their friends. Now get this. The table we reviewed before is important. We're not talking about friends who just bring emotional support to the table. We're talking about friends who can collaborate. So it's collaboration, it's execution that brought us together. But because we have chemistry, we bond and become friends, okay, over time. Now, this is the message. When you place people without chemistry together in a team, productivity will suffer. Let me say that again. When you place people without chemistry into a team, productivity will suffer. So at the point of bringing a new person in, you want to check that this person has chemistry with people who are already on the team. And then from time to time, you want to evaluate the team to make sure that there is chemistry. Don't forget, life is business. So you don't run your life by sentiments. It's possible for somebody to be on your team and has been there for years, but maybe they've dropped in value, they've dropped in contribution, or they no longer have chemistry with the new guys you're trying to bring into the team. Let me be practical about it. Let's assume you have a team of 4 people that you've been working with. Okay, maybe they've been with you for years. They are doing very well, and you have this new group, okay, of maybe about 4 or 5 Gen Zs, okay, that are working with you. Now watch this, and this happens a lot to leaders. You have chemistry with the Gen Zs, and you have chemistry with the Gen X, but you found out that out of your team of about 4 or 5 Gen X, okay, or millennials that you've been working with, only about 2 of them have chemistry with the Gen Zs. What a wise leader will do is to form a new team with the Gen Zs and your Gen X or millennials who have chemistry with the Gen Zs, and find a way to repurpose and reposition the older guys that have chemistry with you but don't have chemistry with your future. This is important. If you put all of them together in the same group, it's not going to work. Camaraderie will drop, productivity will drop, but don't forget, life is business. So you need to decide for the future instead of holding on to the past. So let me give you a personal example of this chemistry thing we're talking about. So many years ago, I was contemplating, whether my wife was the right person for me to marry. And of course, we pray, we consider a lot of things. Are we compatible and all of that? And it was around that time that I was learning about this chemistry thing. So I asked a friend of mine who was really very close to me, a confidant, a team player at that time. I asked her, what do you think about Denrile? Do you think she's my wife? Do you think she's suitable to be my wife? And this is what my friend said. She said, Shagun, I am your friend. Anybody who is going to be your wife will be my friend. And I was like, what's this one talking about? Okay. Anyway, I decided to, perform an experiment. So I brought the 2 of them together, introduced them to each other. And guess what? They became fast friends. Okay. They became so close that I started getting envious of their bond. They became so close that when this friend of mine was getting married, my wife now was the chief bridesmaid. I was the MC at the wedding. That was how close they become. So I decided to take the experiment further and to introduce this person to stakeholders in my life. The day she met my pastor's wife, they bonded. The day she met my pastor, they bonded. And this is what I found out. Everybody who was already important in my life bonded with this new person who is going to be crucial to my future. That is chemistry. If it is not there, you cannot force it. But it is important that the people you are bringing in and the people you already have that bond, so that you can what? You can create camaraderie and you can be productive together. So those are my 3 C's. Look at them again: character, competence, and chemistry. Character, competence, and chemistry. Now, the final one, and this for me is the most important, is the inward witness. Now, sometimes even before the 3 C's come into play, by the inward witness, I know, okay, I know that this person is suitable, or I don't know, or rather I know this person is not suitable. Now, the inward witness is a spiritual thing, is a Christian thing, and I am a Christian, and I'm not just Christian by mouth. I live out these principles every day of my life. I wrote something about the inward witness in the book. Let me share that with you, and then we'll look at the scripture and move on. The inward witness. The inward witness is a very simple but highly effective way God guides his children. When we are contemplating a choice or executing an idea, the presence or absence of the peace of God in our hearts tells us whether we are making a right or a wrong decision. No matter how clear and logical the idea seems, if you are not at peace in your heart about it, don't proceed. This is where, if people are close to you and they don't share your values, they don't share your spiritual heritage, this is where you come across as weird. So this is what I do. When I pick or I make a decision by the inward witness and I'm interacting with people who don't understand the concept of the inward witness, I take them, okay, through the 3 C's. Because a lot of times what the 3 C's will explain, the inward witness will pick. Sometimes by the inward witness, I find out this person is not suitable, and it is in time that I understand by the 3 C's the reason why the person is not suitable. And there are times where some people don't appear suitable, yet you have peace in your heart about the decision, so you go ahead. And over time, you are able to explain through the 3 C's the reason why this person is suitable. And there are people you pick by the inward witness who evolve and grow into the 3 C's over time. Now, this is where we got the inward witness from Scripture. Colossians chapter 3 and verse 15 from the Amplified Bible. It says, "Let the peace of Christ, the inner calm of one who walks daily with him, be the controlling factor in your hearts, deciding and settling questions that arise. To this peace indeed you were called as members in one body of believers, and be thankful to God always." And this is what we're saying. No matter how good the decision looks, no matter how logical it appears, if you are not peaceful in your heart about it, don't do it. And so what I tell people, especially when it comes to choosing team members, choosing business partners, choosing people to do life with, is give it time. And in that time, check your heart. And what I love about the inward witness is it never fluctuates, it never fails. Okay, there's nothing like you are peaceful about it and then 3 weeks later, now you are not at peace anymore. No. It never changes. That's something beautiful about God. He is not a man. He does not change his mind. If God says no, it's going to be no in 1,000 years. If God says yes, it's going to continue to be yes in 1,000 years. So it's a way we make very important, especially when it comes to people. You know, people change for the better or for worse. Okay, people grow, people evolve. So it's possible for you to miss a good person if you are judging them by their present. And it's possible for you to be deceived by a bad person by judging in the present. By the inward witness, you can know the right person to do life with or the right person to choose. This is a summary of what we have discussed tonight. In life, you don't go as far as your dream. You go as far as your team. So you want to make sure that you are intentional about the people that you are doing life with. As I begin to round up tonight, let me share with you another beautiful statement that I heard from a friend of mine. He said, every breakthrough or every breakdown begins with a conversation. Let me read it again. Every breakthrough or breakdown begins with a conversation. And what are we saying? You are a product of the quality of your conversations. The quality of your conversations will determine your values. Your values will determine your decisions, and your decisions will determine your destination in life. It's as simple as that. Your company is your prophecy. And if there's anything I've said tonight repeatedly, is life is business. Don't run your life by sentiments, run your life by principles. It's on that note that I'm going to stop tonight. If you have a question, please, you can put it in the comments. I've not looked at the comments in a while. So if you have a comment, if you have feedback, if you have a contribution, quickly please put it in the comments. Okay, Dr. Banji says that we go as far as Saka plus Odegaard plus Martinelli. Honestly speaking, tonight my heart is with Arsenal. My head is with Real Madrid. Okay, my heart is with Arsenal, but the creative person in me, the maverick in me is wondering, can Real Madrid pull it off? Okay, but my heart is with Arsenal tonight. So whoever wins tonight, I'm going to sleep easy. That's my position on the matter. Okay, but it's going to be fantastic. We have just about some 18 minutes to that match. So let all the men and the women who love football watch the match tonight, and we can banter over it later. All right, if you have any question, quickly please put it in the comments. Mayo Babatunde says, powerful session, Pishex always delivers. Thank you. Thank you very much. Sometimes when I think about the people that I need to share with, it pushes me. And honestly speaking, God comes through with inspiration, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you find this content inspiring and blessing. So do me a favor, please share the link with a friend or two. Okay, it's always available from the first session till date. Everything is available on my YouTube channel. And while we are at it, would you subscribe so that I can hit 1,000 subscribers very soon? I think I'm around 400 plus right now. We want to hit 1,000 very soon, maybe before the middle of the year. So do me a favor, subscribe if you have not subscribed, share with friends and loved ones. Let them know on a weekly basis there is somebody who cares about you becoming your best version, all right, and is going to speak to that effect. And that's what we do here every Wednesday. All right, Oyewo Olalekon, thank you so much for your kind words. As we round up tonight, allow me to invite you to Hill City this Sunday. We are celebrating Easter with a mini concert. We have titled it Love Wins. Our worship team is fantastic and they're ready to go. We're going to have a great time this Sunday morning at Easter. And by the way, we're going to also continue our teaching series on marriage. So this Sunday at Hill City is 2 for the price of 1. It's a mini Easter concert by City Music, and the message series on Happily Married continues. So you don't want to miss Sunday for anything. Bring a friend, bring everybody you know. And if you can't join us in person, then join us on YouTube, Hill City NG or Hill City NG _ Lekki. We want to make sure wherever you are, whichever location you choose, we are available online as we are on site. So I look forward to seeing you on Sunday and sharing the resurrection of Jesus with you. Let's round it up there tonight. Eunice Samuel, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. That is the Adenrele I was talking about in the story. We have a lot of chemistry together, if you know what I mean. All right, so I'll see you next week. Next week, the topic is You Have to Run. If you have not read the book, please read the book. For those who have read the book, these sessions are inspiring for you, okay, because the principles come alive. And please, maybe I should say something about the book just before I round up. You see, I was reading the book recently and I said to myself, okay, this is the reason why this book is not very big. You see, I go straight to the point. And for this particular book, I didn't use so many words to explain myself. So I will encourage you to Read the book slowly and take your time to meditate on the principles as you read. Okay, it's short, it's straight to the point, but this book is loaded. Honestly speaking, not just because I wrote it, every time I read the book, I get inspired myself. Okay, read it slowly and meditate on the words. Thank you very much. All right, Femi Ashaju says, "Sir, I already have a team I'm not happy with. What can one do to correct this? Or what if a member who started strong is now drifting away from the vision? What can one do?" So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is take responsibility. Take responsibility. If you pick a team that you are not happy with, then it means that you don't know how to pick a team. Okay, you need to take that responsibility. That's the first thing. That, look, maybe I rushed, maybe I didn't know how to look for these qualities. Okay, you see, because if you don't correct your errors, you will repeat them. If you don't correct yourself, you will repeat the same mistakes. That's number one. Then number two, you have a team member who probably started strong and now is dropping the ball. This is what I say to people. People can be exhausted. You know, it's a mistake a lot of people make. They judge the future of the relationship by their season of bliss. And like we said in the first session, that season will always come to an end. Okay, that season will always come to an end. So there are people who don't have a plan for when the season of bliss comes to an end. And in 3 months, in 6 months, sometimes in 2 years, they are exhausted. They don't discard people. You don't want to dump people. You want to help the person. So sit down with the person, show the person what's going on. Okay, you came in, promising, but we seem to have exhausted you. Okay, our demand is greater than your supply. Please do something about it. Invest in growth. And you may want to give the person, say, a probation period and say, you know what, let's observe you for like the next 3 months. If things don't get better in 3 months, then we may need to make another decision. And if you do it that way, some people will sit up in 3 months, and if the person does not sit up, then there's another principle of you fire fast, you hire slow. Fire fast, hire slow. Okay, so sometimes you get to the point where this is not the person we are looking for. Don't hold on. Okay, move on. It's important that you do that. All right. Temilolua Kingsley Opurum, good to have you here. You said, "Thank you, Pishex. How do I get your new book?" So for those in the diaspora, for those in the UK and in the US, physical copies of the book will be made available to you very soon. Give us a few months. We're going to work it out to make sure that the physical copies get across to you. We have plans of having a physical event in the UK before the end of the year. We have plans of, at least I know the checklist seminar is going to be holding in the US before the end of this year. So physical versions of or copies of the book will be made available at that time. By next week, Wednesday, a link is going to be shared where you'll be able to get the e-version of the book. For those who are interested in the e-copies of the book, by next week, Wednesday, the link will be shared with you so that you can get the book. For those in Lagos, it's available at Hill City, Botikeja, and Lekki. So get your copy. When I say Lekki, once you see me, copies of the books are always in my car. So just speak with Ore, and Ore will give it to you for those in the Lekki church. So that's the plan for now. In subsequent weeks, we're going to give more information about how to get the book. Thank you very much. I will see you next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we're moving to chapter 4. You have to run. Okay? You don't want to miss it for anything. Do me a favor, like I said, subscribe to the channel. Share the link with your friends so that they can benefit from this rich material that we're churning out every week. I look forward to seeing you next week Thursday, next week Wednesday, forgive me. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. Arsenal and Real Madrid, let's keep our fingers crossed. We'll see you on the other side. God bless you. Bye-bye.